Hi, this is Hunter from Fulton Music Lessons, and today we're going to talk about the circle of keys. In order to understand the circle of keys, you'll need a base understanding of how the major scale works. If you need a refresher on that, you could check out my other video called Major Scales Explained. So the circle of keys uses the first 6 notes from the major scale, and remember that the order of these notes tells us which chords we are allowed to play within that respective key signature. And for review, the first note is a major chord, the second and third are minor chords, the fourth and fifth are major chords, and the sixth is the relative minor. So the circle of keys is a really useful songwriting tool because it lays out the foundation of chords available for every single key. And if you're like me and you don't remember all of your scales off by heart, it's really a useful tool for fast tracking what chords you're allowed to use. So let's start off explaining the circle of keys with an example. We'll use the key of C major as our first example. Okay, so let's start with the key of C major. This is going to be the C major scale. And now if you follow along with your tabs, we can see that the notes in the scale are C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. And if we look at those first 6 notes of the scale and the chords that go along with them, we have C major, D minor, E minor, F major, G major, and A minor. Now the circle of keys typically leaves out the 7th note of the major scale, which is going to be your diminished chord. And just for your information, the B diminished of the C major key is this right here. Okay, now that we've figured out our C major scale and the chords that we're allowed to use within it, let's take a look at this on the circle of keys. So here we can see that the major chords are on the outside of the circle and the minor chords are on the inside of the circle. And in red we can see the numbers, and these numbers basically represent which note this was in the scale. Okay, let's try one more example using the E major key signature. We're going to go through our E major scale, and this is also a really good kind of scale practice that you can use outside of this as well. Okay, let's start by taking a look at the E major scale. And now if you follow along with your tabs, we have E, F sharp, G sharp, A, B, C sharp, D sharp, and E. And now if we go along with the entire E major scale practice that is great to use just as a warm-up or as a daily routine, it goes like this. So if we take a look at these first 6 notes, and we look at the chords that go along with them, we have E major, F sharp minor, G sharp minor, A major, B major, C sharp minor, and then finally the diminished chords at the very end as well, which are kind of tricky. We have D sharp diminished, which would be our 7th note of the E major scale. Now we're back to E major. Okay, now that we've figured out our E major key, let's have a look at it on the circle of keys to make sure that our scale works out with what's on the circle. Okay, now that we've gone through a couple examples, let's try one on your own. Let's do it in the key of A major, and without using the scale, see if you can only use the circle of keys to determine which 6 chords you're allowed to play within the key of A major. So press pause here, give it a shot, and then I'll give you the answers after. Okay, so now that you've had a minute to work out the chords that are part of the A major scale, let's see if you got them right. We've got A major, B minor, C sharp minor, D major, E major, and F sharp minor. And those would be the 6 that you would be allowed to use for a chord progression or anything in the key of A major. Thank you for watching this lesson on the circle of keys. If you have any questions, leave a comment below and I can give you a hand. And if you want any of the notes, send me an email and I can send you the PDF files. And thank you for watching.